rearranged a little bit. And I wasn't sure how everything was going to be reset. And I think I actually did okay. What do you know? I do have a little bit of a weird hey, buddy. Give me your hairbrush, dude. All right, so I think we're good, right? It's gonna get, yeah, there's a weird glare, and I think it's honestly because it's so hot and so bright. I have my blinds closed, so the window is just giving a little bit of a weird thing, but it's too hot. We moved away from Florida because it was too hot, and I don't think we went far enough. But I don't like that cold, so I don't know. I'm just gonna have to deal with it, I guess. It's only another month or so. Poop. Sorry, now I'm trying to fix and I'm screwing it all up. Sorry. Okay. One way makes the camera happy for Facebook, but it doesn't make it happy for YouTube. So we're just gonna have to find a happy medium there. All right, is it time? It's gotta be close to time, right? I guess I've been screwing around long enough. All right, so good morning on Facebook, good morning on YouTube. I don't have a plan today. And my sinuses are doing some weird stuff, so I figured it was just better to kind of go with the flow and see what feels good and see what doesn't. And honestly, that should be what you do every day, right? So we all go to classes, and we aren't in charge of the playlist, so to speak, right? Of the flow. And sometimes the body just doesn't want to do what the teacher has said to do, right? So skip it, modify it, change it up, right? It can feel awkward when you're in, with a group, right? And you don't want to be distracting, but listen to your body, right? And if that pose is just not right for you that day, then you're supposed to do something else, right? Or modify it somehow so that it is good for you. So even, and especially when you're home, I mean, who's watching? You can't distract anyone, right? So just make sure that you're making these adjustments. Even if you're making up your own practice, which is essentially kind of what I'm doing right now, right? It's supposed to be good for you. Right? If a pose doesn't feel good for whatever reason, then that's not the right pose today, and it's fine. Maybe tomorrow, next week, next year. So let's start standing up here, obviously, right? Feet up underneath the hip bones. Make sure your toes point forward. Actually, look at your feet. It's fine to look at your feet. Spread your toes as wide as you can, and then imagine grounding the four corners, nice and even. And as you press down into the floor, that makes your legs work a little bit, which is a good thing. Little tuck at the tailbone, nothing crazy, right? Just keep that lower back nice and long. Lifting the pelvic floor, the lower belly is in and up. The sides are tall, shoulders relaxed, extending out the crown of your head. Checking in that your ears are over your shoulders as well. So you may feel like you have to move your head back a little bit, like either moving your ears back or maybe tucking your chin in a little bit. Right? See what makes your head feel as if it's like plumb, right, over your feet, so to speak. And then just be here for a moment. And maybe this is really foreign, right? Especially if you're first starting, this might feel weird. But we want it to feel less weird as time goes on. Standing tall and aligned, being present in your body. Begin to notice your breath. Again, something that we don't always do, unless maybe our nose is stuffy, right? Or you have to sneeze or something smells weird. Allowing that breath to gently stretch out. So inhales get a little bigger, a little bit slower. Same thing with the exhales. And find a breath that is just a little bit of work. So nothing over the top, right? But enough work that you have to notice it. And then we work to stay connected to that breath. So some movements are on an inhale, some movements are on an exhale. Sometimes we hold, sometimes we can get deeper into them using the breath, right? So really stay connected to it and aware of it. With the next inhale, we're going to take the arms and stretch them up to the ceiling. Make your arms match your breath. Exhaling them back down again. Again, like that. One more time. Come on back to the top. And when you get there, you can interlace your fingers or rotate your palms, whatever makes you happy there. Exhale yourself over to the right. Inhale, bring it back to center. And then exhale, hinge over to the left. So we're going to flow side to side like that, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, trying to keep the body weight even in the feet. So we don't want to just shift the hips. We want the upper body to be doing the work. And keeping the front body facing forward rather than rotating toward the floor. Does that make sense? Let's go once more on each side, getting into the side body. Coming back to the top. And then exhaling the arms back to the sides. Let's go ahead and take hands to thighs, right? Keeping the shoulders back, the belly in. We're going to hinge over into a half fold kind of place, right? You may or may not be parallel to the floor with your upper body. Somewhere between, perhaps. Leaning on the thighs as much as you need to lean. So if you need the support, lean away. Try to keep your legs straight and your hips over your ankles rather than hanging out behind. Spine in this neutral place so the shoulders are back. Again, using your lower belly to support your back. And then a little bend into the knees. On an inhale, round up through your spine, stacking one vertebra on top of the other, coming up to standing again. And then exhale back into that halfway place again with that nice neutral spine. Okay? So inhale as you round up all the way to standing. And then exhale back into that half place again, halfway place again. Take a few flows like that. Connected to the breath. Next time you're in that half fold, go ahead and hold that one. And then we're going to work kind of the bottom half, right? So exhale, see if you can dip into that fold a little bit deeper. And then inhale and come back into that halfway place. Exhale a little bit deeper yet. Inhale back to the halfway place. So using the breath, take your time, and if you found your full fold after like a breath, then you're done. Right? Otherwise, take 2 or 3 or 4 breaths to find the deepest part of your hamstring stretch. And then we're going to hold what we have here. The hands can come to the floor if it doesn't round through your spine, right? If it makes your shoulders sag or your knees bend or your lower back round, then maybe stay up a little higher and keep your hands on your shins. Just listening to your body. From this forward fold, let's go ahead and take a nice big step back with the right foot. Come into a lunge and just sort of wiggle around a little bit. Shift through the hips. And then find a center here and see if you can make it feel like work. So press through the back heel. Press down into this left foot. And then imagine drawing the legs toward each other. You can kind of feel your hips square up a little bit. See if you can sink into the lunge a bit. You can always drop that back knee if it's too much. Notice where your shoulders are on your back. Try to put your spine in this neutral place as well. And then step forward again. Right leg maybe feels a little different than the left. Let's go ahead and switch, stepping the left foot way back there. Adjust, right? Make it further back, bring it closer, drop the knee, whatever you need here. Wiggling around. And then finding that center. So pressing through the back heel, sinking into the hips, pressing down into the right foot, drawing those legs together so that it's aligned and your muscles are working as well as stretching. And then go ahead and step forward again. From here, we're just going to make our way into an all fours, stepping both feet back, hands and knees. Wrist under shoulders, unless that's super uncomfortable for your shoulders, they can go a little bit forward. But think of the 4 corners of the hands like we set our 4 corners of the feet. Okay? Nice and even, try not to dump the body weight into the wrists. And then from here, let's go ahead and take the right hand, palm face up, weave it underneath, and drop the elbow to the floor. Little baby twist. If you're ready for more, take that hand further to the left and go ahead and drop the right shoulder to the mat. So we want it to be in the middle. We want the spine long, right? So your shoulders shouldn't be back by your knees. Right? Keeping it in that neutral position, making sure you're not leaning on your head so your neck gets comfortable. And then the more you press into the floor with the right arm and the left hand, the deeper the twist feels. So using the floor to work our way around into this a little bit deeper. Nice big breaths. And then gently release what we got here, making your way back to all fours. Switching sides. So the left hand underneath, either the elbow or the shoulder to the floor. And you can hang out in one for a little bit and then change to the other. Maybe it's too much to drop to the shoulder, at least initially. So using the floor to make that bigger. Even if the elbow's on the mat, you can push into the floor with the forearm to rotate around into the twist. Try to stay nice and even on your feet. Again, head and neck are comfortable wherever you are. And then we're going to release that twist, coming back to all fours. So bringing the hands out of handprints ahead of that, so we shift the upper body into kneeling plank. Okay. So find your middle here. If you want to be in full plank the whole time, that's totally fine as well. Nice and even on the 4 corners of the hands. Shoulders back, belly in, and simply hold. Right? So maybe up off the knees. Watch that the pelvis doesn't sag though. Okay, it's a heavy bone. Keep it in line with the spine. Head in line with the spine. Sometimes that likes to get jerky. Right, bringing that up. And then go ahead and make your way to down dog. So shifting the hips up and back. Wiggling around like we always do in our first down dog. Checking in that the feet are hip bone distance apart and that the hands and feet are in the same place as they are when you're in that plank position. Again, just maybe moving through your shoulders, moving through your hips, bicycling your heels, whatever feels good here. Good morning, y'all. And then allow yourself to settle into it. So sinking down through those heels, pressing the chest back. Maintaining what you have, let's go ahead and lift the right foot. And we want to press through both heels. Getting that little extra stretch. From there, opening up the right hip, take those toes a little higher, maybe bend into the knee. Work to keep the shoulders square to the floor. And then we're going to release that side. Switch. So lifting the left leg, staying square to the mat at first at least, pressing out through the heels. You feel a little extra stretch. Open the left hip, bend at the knee if you like. Even on the hands, making sure you're breathing. Then releasing that side. Go ahead and drop down to the knees and bring yourself into child's pose. And remember, you can take your hands back by your heels and rest your shoulders. You can prop your head up on a block or your stacked fists. Maybe you can't sit the hips back so much. And just listen to your body and make child's pose comfortable. It's supposed to be comfortable and resting. So use props if you need to use props. Let's go ahead and move ourselves back into that kneeling plank. Again, just kind of checking in. If you want to be in full planks, you're more than welcome. Keeping the spine neutral. Bend the elbows tight to the sides of the body and slowly, intentionally lower yourself to the floor. And sometimes you kind of flop down, and that's all right. Some days. So keeping the toes on the floor, we're going to have the hands back next to the side ribs, four corners of the hands flat on the floor. Okay. Hug the elbows in. And then with the breath here, simply roll the shoulders. So on an inhale, we're going to pull them up by the ears together on the back and down toward the hip bones. And then we're going to exhale and release them. So with the breath in and out, making big circles with the shoulders. One more breath like that. And then just rest down. We're going to keep that, hold it, and add on if you want to add on. Remember, you don't have to. Okay? So listening to the body. Elbows are tight to the sides just like before. With the inhale, go ahead and roll your shoulders. Okay? Hold that here. Imagine squeezing your elbows together on your back. They don't meet. Keeping the chest pointing forward as much as you can. Okay? From here, pull with your hands like you're going to pull your belly button forward. You feel some space? If you felt some space, you might be able to press into the hands to come up a little bit higher. Tuck the tailbone, keep the shoulders away from the ears, hug those elbows together on your back. Breathe. One more breath. And then release. So pressing down into the knees, keep the elbows hugged in. Imagine lifting your belly up off the floor, like your lower belly, right? It's not actually going to move. Well, maybe it moves, but it doesn't really lift. Yeah. But keep that lift. And then press into the hands, lift your entire upper body as a unit back to kneeling plank. Okay, so we come down together, we go up together. Ideally, right? Go ahead and sit back into your child pose again. Stretching the arms long, taking them back by your hands back by the heels if you like. And then back to down dog. Let's step the right foot forward for lunge. Wiggling the toes up. We're not going to stay here, so don't worry if it's not in the perfect position. We're going to take the hands and walk them around into the center of the straddle fold. So you can adjust your feet here. Wider, more narrow, whatever you need. Toes point forward. Even on the four corners of the feet, even here. Okay? And for a moment, just let yourself hang. Whether your hands are up on your shins, maybe grab opposite elbow, let your head hang. Just be really loose and long through the spine. And then releasing the hands. Take the hands either to your thighs for support or up to your hips. Elbows pointing toward the ceiling as much as you can. So the spine is in this really neutral position. And then we're going to come halfway up. And like our half fold with the feet together, same idea. Okay, again, supporting on the thighs if you feel like you need that. Belly's in. Take an inhale. Exhale. And the next inhale, we're going to come all the way up, hinging from the hip again. So in this straddle position here, go ahead and turn your left toes in a little bit and the right toes toward the top of the mat, bending into the right knee. And we have warrior 2 feet. Check them out. Make sure you can see your right big toe. Extending the arms parallel to the floor. Gazing over the right hand. And like when we were in our lunge, imagine pressing down through both feet and pulling them toward each other underneath. Right? So make it like work. From here, bend your right arm, press the forearm on the thigh, bring the left arm over the ear. Lean on the leg if you need to lean. We'd like to be in a straight line from the left fingertips all the way through that left heel. Right? So we don't want the bum sticking out or the head coming forward. Stay in this nice long line. Keep this idea in your head. It may not reflect reality in a second, but this is the idea anyway. Take that left hand to the hip and your right hand to the floor in front of your right foot. You might need to adjust for a minute. Don't worry about it. Hop the back foot in until you can lift that foot up off the floor. And now here, see if you can create that same long line. And yes, if your left arm wants to move over the left ear, that's fine. Or up toward the ceiling. But the body is still open to the side more than the floor. See the line? Kind of. Oh, really well. That doesn't help. I thought that could help. That doesn't help. Stepping way back into lunge again. And all the way back up into our straddle. It was worth a shot, right? So adjusting your feet wider, more narrow, whatever you need. Right toes in a little bit, left toes toward the back. Bending into the knee. Check it out again, making sure that your feet are where you want them to be as you take the arms parallel to the floor. Bending the left elbow, come into that angle. Finding this nice long line up the right side of the body. Bringing the right hand to the hip. Left hand to the floor in front of the foot. And again, it's going to take some wiggling and adjusting, don't worry. Hop the right foot in and lift it away from the floor. Maybe you find that nice straight line from the right shoulder to the right toes. Adding the arm, not adding the arm, looking up toward the ceiling if that's you. One more breath. And then way back to the lunge and the straddle. So hands back to the hips, thighs if you need the support. Come on back over into the half fold. And then all the way over. Hands back to the mat. Go ahead and walk them around to the right foot. Step back, down dog. Drop on down to the knees. And sit back in the child's pose. If they're not already, go ahead and take your hands back by your heels. Let your shoulders roll forward a bit. Keeping your hands back by your heels, hinge up and sit up on your heels. So you don't need your hands to move your upper body. If this is super uncomfortable, come out of it, take a seat, prop with a block, whatever you need here. If you want to open up your knees and feet and sit between your heels, go for it. We all have different places to be. And the knees are can be especially sensitive. So do what you need for yourself. So the idea is that it's a little bit easier for the upper body to be upright here. But again, a seat is fine, sitting on a block even, right, so that the upper body is in this neutral position. Let's go ahead and take the right arm out and then bend the elbows so the fingers are pointing toward the ceiling. Bring that arm in front, take the left arm underneath, weave the left hand between the right arm and face, and hook your fingers. Ish. Relax down and through your shoulders. And then see if you can lift your elbows higher. Not your shoulders, not leaning back, just your elbows. And then you can take your hands closer to your face or further away from your face to find a nice stretch there as well. Releasing the hands, rolling the shoulders a little bit maybe. And then switch sides. So the left arm out, and then in front, the right arm under, weave it between there. Whatever you can hook. Keeping the shoulders down, maybe the elbows up. Adjusting the hands. And release. Roll your shoulders a little bit. So one more for the shoulders. And again, if this gets too much, adjust, sit, whatever. Right? The right arm's going to go out to the right again. This time bending the elbow and taking that hand kind of between your shoulder blades or behind your neck or wherever is accessible. This elbow, we want pointing toward the ceiling as much as we can. From there, see about taking your left hands behind your lower back. Walk the fingers up and see if maybe they can meet the right hands, and maybe they can and maybe they cannot. And you can use a strap here to walk your hands closer together, right? or not. Keeping the head in line, the spine in a nice neutral position. We're going to take one more breath. and then release it. Move your shoulders around a little bit. And do the same thing on the second side. So this left arm out, the hand is between, help the elbow point toward the ceiling, and then the right hand comes behind and we walk up. And so theoretically, the right elbow points toward the floor. Okay? Maybe your hands move toward each other, and it's entirely normal for this side to be different than the other side, for whatever reason. One more big breath. And gently release, rolling your shoulders around again. If you've been in this hero's position, virasana, whatever, come forward onto hands and knees, and just simply tap your feet, roll your ankles, stretch your legs, whatever you need over here. And then release all that. We'll come around to sit on the bottom, stretching the legs out long and flat. So half fold, right? You're already there. Make sure you feel upright on your pelvis. Again, you could be sitting up on a block here. Just watch that you don't hyperextend your knees. Belly's working, shoulders are down and back. We're going to reach the arms, hinge forward, and then just let your hands fall. Maybe you touch your toes and maybe you don't. Leading with the chest, finding your fold. We've got another big breath. On the inhale, make your way back up. We'll go ahead and release the arms. And then step the right foot flat to the floor. So options here are to leave the foot exactly where it is, or to maybe bring that right foot to the outside of the left leg. We want to keep the left leg pointing forward, making sure that the hips are level and this right foot is on the floor. If it's you, bend the left knee, bring the heel in front of the right hip. But again, hips have to be level, this right foot has to be on the floor, sitting tall. And it's kind of nice because you can cheat here and pull against the leg to sit up a little taller. From here, wrap the left arm around the leg, take the right hand behind the back, and give yourself a little twist. So that twist that we did at the very beginning where we were pushing against the floor, same thing with the right hand, push, keep staying tall, and then you can kind of pull with the left arm to bring yourself into a deeper twist. Maybe you don't need it, right? So again, just listening to what your body wants here. Sometimes it's a twisty day, sometimes it's a folding day. One more big breath. Releasing the twist. Unhook the legs. And then switch sides, bringing the left foot flat to the floor. Whether you leave it on the inside of the leg or outside of the leg, whether you leave your right leg straight or you bend it, again, listen to what your body needs. Just checking in that the pelvis is level, the spine is long, right foot's on the floor. Wrap the right arm, support with the left, and rotate around. Another nice big breath. face. Unhooking your legs. Let's go ahead from here. We're going to go back on the mat, so position yourself so that you have some place to go. And then bring the soles of your feet together, hanging onto your ankles, drawing the heels in toward the groin. Relaxing the shoulders down the back, lift your chest. If you need a little bit more for your stretch, use your elbows at your inner thighs to press down, and imagine hinging your belly button towards your heels. Nice and gentle. Take another breath here. And then keep hanging onto your ankles as you hinge back up. Start to lean back. And you lift your feet away from the floor and balance. For a moment here, let your legs be really heavy. Like, use your arms to hold your legs. Feel that nice stretch across the tops of the shoulders. Down into the arms a bit. And then re-engage your belly. Releasing your ankles, bring your knees together. You can hang onto your shins or behind your thighs or wherever, right? Keep lifting your chest, balancing. You can stay with your toes low. You can take your shins parallel to the floor, or you can take your legs straight. Hang on or let go. Wherever you are, bring the soles of the feet back together and hang on to those ankles again. And instead of lifting the chest, go ahead and C-curve your spine, and it'll happen. You roll down. Keep the soles of the feet together. Let them come to the floor, and then just rest. Let your spine relax into the mat. We're going to bring the knees together. Draw them into the chest and rock. So pulling the knees into the chest, go ahead and cross your ankles and take your hands to grab your feet. It'll be your opposite foot, if your ankles are crossed. And then pull down toward the body. And now imagine pulling your feet away from each other. So the knees will kind of open. Releasing that, go ahead and cross your feet the other way. Same idea, start by just simply pulling the legs closer to your chest. And then imagine pulling the feet away from each other. And they might actually move a little bit or not so much. Releasing the feet, keep your knees in toward your chest and take your shins vertical so it looks like your feet are stepping on the ceiling. From there, reach up and grab for the soles of your feet. If that ain't happening in this universe, grab onto the backs of your thighs, or you can use a strap across the ball band of your foot. So the idea is to have your feet, shins are vertical, tailbone pointing toward the floor. It's really common to roll your butt up off the mat here. Try and keep it down. And then pulling on your feet so that you're drawing your knees in toward your armpits. And yes, they can open up, obviously. Right? But you don't want them super wide. You want them right down the sides of your body, ideally. Are your shins still vertical? And then play with this a little bit because it's fun. Pull down on the right foot a little bit. See if you roll over to your right. Yeah. And then pull back down on your left foot. You can roll back to center and maybe all the way over to your left. So side to side like that. Knees touching the floor. And then come back to the middle. Pull down evenly on both feet. Kick your feet back up into your hands, so make it like work. Release your feet, take them to the floor. And then like where we started, go ahead and let the soles of the feet come together and your knees drop open to the sides. Bringing the knees back together. Drawing them into the chest. And then opening the arms out wide, letting the knees fall to the right. So you obviously can make adjustments in your twist. You can make it work. You can just release into them. You know, final twist is always your choice. Just like with everything, all right? We're going to take just a couple of breaths over on this side. And then come on back to center. Take your second side. Just a couple more breaths over here. Make your way back to center. Squeezing the knees back into the chest again. On the forehead toward the knees. And then release it into a full body stretch. Releasing that stretch. Finding where the body needs to be for Shavasana today. Taking your time. Making the adjustments so that your body can be super, super comfortable. And then releasing the muscles. Releasing the breath. Keeping the mind quiet. Allowing yourself to rest for just a few minutes here. breath gently deepen. Begin to restore movement to your body. Keeping your eyes closed and your mind quiet. Slowly make your way back to seated if you're not already. Sit well. And draw the palms to touch. Bowing your head to your heart. Namaste. Okay. So it was a little shorter than I would have planned, but sometimes that happens, right? And this was sort of a see what happens today. If you haven't seen already or haven't heard, I am looking for some feedback, especially from people who are a little bit older, right? Who have to moan and groan standing up out of the chair that you've been sitting in for a little bit, right? Or you're a little stiff in the morning sometimes. The pose that you cannot live without, right? That you can't get through your day without stretching in this direction. It doesn't have to be a yoga pose. It doesn't have to be a yoga practice, right? Just any stretch that you need to move comfortably through your day. That might be a 2 or 3, totally fine, right? But just give me a shout and let me know what your need is, right? I've got a little something in my brain to put all these things together, and because getting old is fun. Sure it is. But it is. It really is. So anyway, y'all, have a lovely day. I won't be with you next weekend, but there will be a class posted. And of course, you can always go in and check things that are archived. All right? So have a good weekend. Stay cool if it's hot where you are, like here. Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching.